understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, October 13th, 2018. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sara, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And are you braced? Are you braced for this? Because we have new episodes. We have three new episodes this week. 3
new episodes.
Look, I love the retro picks, but I am super excited for new episodes.
Yeah, everything's coming up Shui.
I know what Shui means. I know what that means. I'm cool.
Yeah.
So Shui.
It reminds me of Quantum Leap when Sam Beckett goes back into the in the early 60s and tells his little sister about awesome. That you're going to stop saying far out at some point and just start saying awesome. Yeah, but we'll get to that when we get to Flash, which should be soon. So Sarah, how are you?
Ed, it snowed here yesterday.
Oh,
that's garbage. That is garbage. I will not put up with this.
Yeah. I mean, I finally stopped using my air conditioner. Like within like the last 48 hours.
Well, kind of us too. It had been 80 earlier in the week, and then it snowed on Friday. This has been an abrupt transition from summer to winter with no real fall, and none of us here are happy, and all of us are kind of sick. Ugh. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I couldn't figure out why my house was so cold in the house, and I realized my air conditioning was still on, so I flipped it over to heat, and the heat doesn't work. So there's that too. Ed, it's terrible. Everything is bad here.
Well, at least you got to bump into a friend.
Yes. So I met a podcast person who I've known online for so long and have adored from afar. Steph, Bad Wolf Bay, from our friend show Gotham Lights, came through my area, and on a very rainy night, we met in a Steak and Shake in person and proved that the other one was real, and it was delightful. I gotta say, more of you people need to drive through Illinois so I can meet you, because it was a good time.
Good old Semi. That was her nickname when she was writing staff on Podtoberfest. That our executive producer Bill Sweeney brings up every now and then. But that's cool. So I've met Henno in person, and now you've met Steph in person. So like between us, we've got Gotham Lights locked down.
So that's one that we can check off. Gotham Lights, check. Who's next?
Yes. That's fun. That's great. So yeah, Steak and Shake. You got those out in Illinois. Is that a chain?
It started in Illinois. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have those where you are? Okay, is this going to be another food segment?
Yeah.
It's a little DC TV report, and it's a little bit regional food.
Yeah, a little bit. No.
But yeah, the first Steak and Shake started about an hour from where I am in Normal, Illinois. And so yeah, they are everywhere here. The one Steph and I met in was actually in my hometown of Lincoln. And when it was built, it was the largest Steak and Shake in the contiguous U.S.
Wow.
And the scene of many high school first dates for me. So
now this is like a sit down burger joint kind of place?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's probably like the closest I can think of here would be something like Red Robin.
Yeah, kind of like that. I would say a little more downscale than that. It's a little more casual than that.
Oh,
but yeah, it's a burger place with other foods as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good shakes as the name would imply. Steph and I both had shakes.
So
you do what you're told.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, on the scale, it's like a TGI Fridays, or is it a little bit more, or is it lower down? You know, I mean, because it's not Five Guys.
It's lower down.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's just, well, it's you sit down and you have a waitress and they, bring you your food, but they also have a drive-through, so it is kind of, you can get things a little bit faster. Does that help if it's a sit down but there's also a drive-through?
Wow, this is really throwing me off here. Like, that's insane. No one does that.
Steak and Shake does that, my friend.
Oh, wow.
It's the kind of thing where locals, when they move away and you get a random Steak and Shake that gets built in your new state, you're just like, a little piece of home. You're not going to go all the time because Steak and Shake is good, but it's not like, the defining restaurant of your life. But it's going to feel like home when you go in.
This is an abnormal hybrid. I'm going to have to lead a task force to investigate. But in the meantime, we do have shows. Couple bit of housekeeping real quick. Do want to say we do have some tweets this week. I do appreciate that. You could tweet us at DCTV Reports. We try to live tweet. I try to live tweet as many shows as we can. Titans, of course, is streaming, so it's kind of really hard to live tweet that because no one watches it at the same time.
I still tried. It didn't go well.
And but we do our best. But you could tweet us questions there. Also, our email address, dctv@wickedtheory.com. If you want to go a little bit more long form, questions, discussions, thank yous, that whole thing. Just so you know, Wicked Theory, on the Wicked Theory podcast I announced this week, I am not going to be a regular on that show anymore. No hard feelings. There's another project that I'm working on that I wanted to devote a little bit more time to. And I will still be doing DCTV Report.
And I'm demanding. I mean, like, this is a lot of work here. You have to really be on the ball to pull together all this DC recaps, news, and commentary. So
it's a labor of love, Sarah. It's a labor of love. And I will also I've been still doing the Franchise Chronicles blog on wickedtheory.com. Just posted the Frankenstein article, and I'm prepping my article on The Mummy from 1932. That's going to be dropping soon. I think Tuesdays seems to be the day that those are dropping. So you can still check out DCTV Report on Sundays, Wicked Theory Podcast on Mondays, Sans Me, and Franchise Chronicles. You can read up on old franchise movies on Tuesdays. So that little bit's out of the way. Also, I say this at the end of every show, but I might as well just throw it out here. If you're listening on Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts, please, anything that has a rate and review feature, please do it, especially on Apple Podcasts. That helps. That makes it easier for people to find us. And tell all your friends about us. Really push hard. Just throw it out there. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. And, we really appreciate all the feedback that we've gotten. And, we'd love to hear from you more often. I'm talking way too much. Sarah, please say something.
Throw us those 5 stars.
Yes. Yes. 5-star reviews. You don't have to say anything in the review. Just type a couple words. You could be friendly. You could be mean if you want. But if you give us 5 stars, that's all good.
Insult our parentage, insult our accents or pronunciation, whatever you want to do. Just, hit us with those stars.
Yes. Sarah's from the Midwest. I'm from New York, but evidently I sound like I'm from the Midwest. I don't know how that happened.
Well, when you put you next to Bill, I mean, executive producer Bill Sweeney sounds like he's from New York.
This is true. What's funny?
Is it your forensics? Is it because you did competitive forensics?
Yeah.
Do they beat that out of you? Not literally, hopefully.
Well, yeah, but I watched a lot of TV as a kid, and listened to a lot of radio. For a while, I was just trying to imitate all the Dan Aykroyd stuff, where he was just being a commercial spokesman on SNL. I don't know what it is. I just know that when all my friends on Staten Island saw Fargo, they went, "Why aren't you on that show? Like that? Why does everyone on this show talk like you, Ed?" I'm like, okay, I didn't think it was that thick, but okay. And maybe just because I don't curse as much. But
that's the real New York accent.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of like that. That's a thing. It was funny. When I guest starred on Super Live Adventure recently, my favorite part was after my segment was over when they came back, and Chris Sorrentino and John Zaluga, the host of that show, were saying, "Yeah, we got nerdy dirty with Ed, nerdy dirty," and then John pointed out, "No, Ed's not that dirty." I got a big kick out of them. So shameless self-promotion out of the way.
Oh, well, I am I'm recapping for EW.com this season, NCIS, while we're doing our side hustles. I think that's going to be the only show I do. Things always can evolve at the last minute, but right now I'm an NCIS person. It's been a lot of fun this season so far. So if you or your aunt are NCIS fans, check me out on EW.com. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
We've effectively pimped everything in our lives.
There you go. I will tell you, that is my grandfather's favorite TV show.
I'm telling you, somebody in your life over the age of 60 freaking loves that show and has very strong opinions and wants to come and use all caps in the comments to tell me about it on my recaps. Mm-hmm. And that's great. I encourage that. I love that.
Yeah. Everyone's parents watch that just because they're glued to CBS.
My dad has never. My dad is a very nice man. He loves me, but he's never been more verbally proud of me than the day he found out I was recapping NCIS. He was so excited. We love that show. Oh, I have to tell Kathy. Kathy, listen to this. Sarah's she's going to write about Gibbs. So yeah, it's true. There's somebody in your life.
Okay. All right.
This has been weird, Ed. This is 11 minutes of weird.
All right. You ready to jump into the recaps?
Yes, please.
All right, let's do this. So we're kicking it off with The Flash, Season 5 premiere. Nora West Allen, a.k.a. XS, revealed herself to Team Flash and was cagey about her reasons for traveling back in time to visit them. Nora's eagerness to help Barry allowed a metahuman named Gridlock to escape and grow dangerously powerful. Ralph wrestled to understand time travel and the multiverse while helping Caitlin do some digging into her past. Last minute reveal, a mysterious guy in a bug costume stopped a prison transport and attacked Gridlock with a lightning bolt-shaped dagger.
Okay, my question for you, Ed. Which is better, drunk Cisco or hungover Cisco?
I'm gonna say hungover Cisco. I found that enjoyable because but drunk Cisco was a lot of fun. It was all shway. Let's put it that way.
So this felt a little bit like a lot of those supporting players got pushed a little bit to the background. They each had little moments. Mm-hmm. But obviously it was all Nora. It was the Nora show, which is fine. I mean, this is going to be the driving force. So what did you think about Nora?
I thought Nora was great. I was I like how immediately from the beginning she's really into Barry and really standoffish against Iris, and you get a sense that there's a lot of depth to her story, and that they didn't reveal all of it at once. We're kind of getting it piecemeal. And also, like, the little drops that she's doing about the people she works with in the future, I thought that was really interesting. And then, of course, that big giant reveal at the end of, we have that headline that we have from season 1, and then she jumps 25 years later, and Barry is still missing. Presumed dead. So... Yeah. So, she never really got to grow up with him. And all of that schmaltzy talk about her missing her firsts really came to impact when Barry realizes, oh no, I really am gonna miss her firsts. That drove it home, and I thought that was a really cool moment.
I agree. And I like the way I enjoyed her joy at getting to run alongside Barry. I thought that was, that's not the father-daughter moment you necessarily expect in most shows, but that was delightful. And poor Iris, I feel like I give Iris a hard time. It's because of her terrible journalism, but she so badly wanted to connect. And I mean, it's just, you kind of ache for her. And what's interesting to me is that she's the one who was a little bit, when they started talking about having kids last season, she just was a little bit like, let's just. So, I imagine she's got some conflicted feelings about, oh my gosh, we have a kid. This is our kid from the future. What am I supposed to do? And now she doesn't seem to want to have anything to do with me. Oh God. I mean, it's just poor Iris. Yeah.
Well, it's really funny because this is on the CW. It's on broadcast cable. You can't have her just turn to Nora and go, listen, in the future, am I an asshole? Like, like, what's the deal here?
No, she cannot Marty McFly that. This is true.
No, no. And you were talking about like the little things that we got. Evidently, Cecile still has some telepathic powers.
And I love that she's excited to still have them. Unlike when Iris had and lost powers in an episode and seemed fine with it. Cecile, she's so thrilled. I still have my powers. And I was like, yeah, girl, I would be too. Good. That's a recognizable human reaction. Good.
Yeah. And Cisco just gives that one drop about like the reason he's drinking heavily is because he just, remembered that he broke up with Gypsy. And I like the fact that he's hungover, but I wish we'd gotten back to that a little bit. I guess we just didn't have time for it with everything else that was going on.
I think it was just so busy. I also super, super enjoyed Ralph. Ralph scaring the new baby. Ralph thinking Earth 2 was Earth also. And then, of course, Ralph saying, if Eddie wanted to erase Thawne, why didn't he just get a vasectomy? Thank you, Ralph. Thank you for speaking for all fans. All of us. Who cried out in one voice when that happened. And what was that, season 1? Eddie! Snip, snip!
Yeah. I gotta tell you, they really turned him into comic relief for this episode. That's really just what he's doing, and to kind of help Caitlin at the end of the episode. But that Earth also bit I did not see coming, and that just floored me. Well, just also
I loved it
because it reminds me of people I used to work with. And when you realize that you're laying out all of this information, and you realize that for an entire season, Ralph was not paying attention and did not soak in any of it.
We all work with people like that, don't we?
Yes. But yeah, that was funny. That was fun.
Well, and him, he's so proud of himself, and he starts explaining the idea of the miniverse. Oh, Ralph. I enjoy him as comic relief, but I also like it when we see the detective work and we see a little bit of the darkness a little bit. So I know he was kind of a rocky character for some fans last season. I liked him, and I'm hoping that they continue to develop him. And for Ed, for you, I hope that they bring in Sue soon.
Yes.
For you.
Yes.
Speaking of that, my husband was beside himself at the fan service, the sheer fan service. Do you want to talk some about that?
Well,
in a good way. I mean, like, he was thrilled.
Yes. Well, first off, our buddy Ashley at River8878 tweeted out during the show, okay, am I the only one that noticed Nora dropped a Lightning Lad reference? Who's that? Okay. So, this is a weird thing because I'm trying to figure out what she shows a headline from 25 years later, but I'm a little confused as to where what time Nora exactly comes from, because in the comics, I don't think her first name is Nora, but XS is Barry Allen's granddaughter, who fights with the Legion of Superheroes in the 31st century. Confused yet?
Yeah, no.
Okay. So
always.
All right. So I'm gonna try to be as simple as possible, but unfortunately, this is kind of convoluted. In the 80s, when you just had all of this giant continuity, one little bit that they threw into Iris West's backstory is that she was actually adopted, and she was sent back in time by her parents from the 30th century, which is the time period where the Legion of Superheroes is from. And at some point, I think either after Barry Allen died during Crisis, or like while he was on trial, like right before that, she decided to go back to where she came from and raised her and Barry's kids in the 30th century. You still with me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So they grew up, had kids, and one of Barry's grandkids becomes XS, who's a Legionnaire, which is kind of like the, like, you know, I guess like AAA minor league version of the Legion of Superheroes. And, you know, one of the, you know, primo all-star Legion of Superheroes members is Lightning Lad, who in comics continuity is married to Saturn Girl, who we met in Supergirl last season. So that's why that reference, it was really cool. Oh, there's a Lightning Lad in the future, but which future is Nora talking about? Is she talking about 25 years in the future, or is she talking about the 30th century, or the 31st century, depending on where it is? And like, is this guy going to ever meet Imra? Or are we talking about two different Earths, or what's going on here? So that was really cool, but it opens a whole can of worms.
Wait, are we talking about Earth 2 or Earth also?
Sure.
I will say, I thought that Nora said something about 30 years from now, her coming from 30 years from now. And I noted that because I was like, wait, how old is she supposed to be? But then I realized, oh, well, Barry and Iris are not going to get pregnant immediately. You know, they could. So I still don't know how old she is. But I thought, I got the impression that she was coming back 30 years. I don't know that for sure. That doesn't necessarily indicate that she hasn't been other places, of course.
Yeah.
Because once you have time travel, everything is just timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I would peg her to be in her mid-20s.
Yeah.
So
she felt young to me. She felt like young 20s to me.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the new Flash suit, the ring. Very exciting, right?
Yes, that is comics accurate. His suit does come out of a ring in the comics. And I like the design. It's brighter, it's a little cleaner, just in terms of the layout of the suit.
I have Flash suit blindness. Anytime he gets a new suit, people go crazy for it on the internet. I'm just like, yeah, I couldn't tell any difference. This one I noticed different. There's clearly something going on that's different enough that even with my tragic Flash suit blindness, I could tell. Mm-hmm. I liked her reference to King Shark and Grodd possibly fighting. I'd like to see that.
Yes, please.
Give us that. And the Flash Museum. That was super cool. That's from the... Yeah,
it's another thing from the comics, the Flash Museum, and everything in there. Also, another thing, the ring, Cisco is saying, is that my design? And she pointed out, no, that was Ryan Choi's design. Sarah, do you know who Ryan Choi is?
Well, I do because I Googled it, but you, since you know it authentically, should go ahead and say it.
Yes, so he is the Atom. He is the third, anyway, he's a later version of the Atom who's a protege of Ray Palmer's. So I'm like, are we gonna go into the future and meet Ryan Choi, and is he gonna be wearing an Atom suit? And he took the mantle after Ray Palmer disappeared into the microverse after he found out that his ex-wife had murdered the elongated man's wife. So I don't know if we're going to see. I doubt we'll ever see that play out. But,
Wait, like Sue, the elongated man's wife?
Sue, yes. This is Identity Crisis. This is that Brad Meltzer story that I keep bringing up. That every time I mention the details of it, seem to horrify you. They did,
I push them out of my brain every time because it makes me angry. I know none of those women characters, but it makes me angry.
Yeah. Well, Brad Meltzer, 2004.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, we see a little bit of that detail in the newspaper episode that Nora shows Barry at the end, the 25th anniversary of the Flash's disappearance, indicating that he has still disappeared. Can I just read it? Do you mind?
Go for it.
In the years following the crisis, accounts only grew more contradictory. Some eyewitnesses remember dozens of other heroes present, including Green Arrow, Batwoman, and Elongated Man. Others remember heroes thought lost in time, like the Atom, or from other worlds, like Supergirl. Some even contend they saw Reverse Flash leading an army of shadow demons. So that, to me, feels like maybe the script for the crossover? I mean, is that what we just read there?
I don't know. And remember, this is 2024. So, like, I keep thinking, like, this is something we're going to...
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, this is something we're going to see in, like, Flash Season 10.
Yeah, that could very well happen. But no, what's interesting to me there is Green Arrow, Batwoman, Elongated Man would indicate that they're all on the same Earth. So Batwoman is not going to be in a different world. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Atom lost in time. When I read that, I just became concerned for Brandon Routh. I mean, but that's always my default setting is concern for Brandon Routh. Like, is he going to be okay?
Now, granted,
him as a man.
This is from this is the fine print from a news article that was on screen for about 3 seconds, and the only reason you knew the whole thing is because it was in 4K. And someone was able to pause it. Yeah. Because it was in HD, and now any text you put on HD, which it's always fun to go back and watch movies from like the 80s and 90s and realize that so many newspaper headlines, they just took random stuff and put the headline they wanted over it, and it's really just a story about, gerbils at the zoo.
You know who didn't do that? The movie Election by Alexander Payne. If you pause on the newspapers there, they actually have a thing like, if you're the person who's pausing to read this, congratulations. Really funny. Because I am that person, always.
All right.
So that's the Flash.
No, that was the only big news was that headline, right?
Yeah, no real news. No.
Okay.
All right. Back,
so, yay! It's so good, so nice. One quick tweet from @SouthernSiren, just really quick. She points out, why aren't they doing a DNA test on Nora with all the things they know are possible in this universe? They're just taking her word for it. For a show full of supposedly smart people, that is dumb.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. And they're literally in a science lab. I mean, it's one thing if it's I'm trying to think of a show where they don't have immediate access to scientists, but that's literally where the bulk of the action was set. It would have been very easy for Caitlin to do a cheek swab, I would think.
Yeah. Also, like, if we're being fair, like, they should probably put her in a cell, and not let her leave Star Labs, because that's how she interfered with Gridlock. Just in terms of temporal safety guidelines, which, obviously they aren't following any of the temporal prime directive. Sorry, getting into Star Trek there for a second, but Team
Flash has always been maddeningly casual about screwing up the timeline and related activities, so none of this is a surprise.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of Barry's things, is that he's honest and trusting, and sometimes that doesn't work out for him. But that's what we love about him, is that he believes in people.
Love him, love his naivete.
All right. On to Black Lightning. Season 2 premiere. The Book of Consequences. Chapter 1. Rise of the Greenlight Babies. The people of Freeland were outraged by police violence against Greenlight children and the government's refusal to release the children in pods from 30 years ago. Jefferson was under fire from the school board for being away when Tobias Whale attacked Garfield High. Jennifer could not control her new powers, and Jefferson and Lynn were unsure how to help her. Karen Fowdy killed Cyanide and went to Gamby for help getting off the grid. Last minute reveal, Fowdy tried attacking Tobias and ended up getting shot with arrows and thrown out a window.
Okay, that parking garage fight. What?
Yes, that fight was insane. That was the best fight of the show.
Yeah, agreed. It reminded me of there's an early Alias episode, the Jennifer Garner show, that had an amazing parking garage fight. And so I'm primed to be like, ooh, parking garage fight. Will it be as good as the Alias one? Yes, it was. It was better. It was
yeah.
It was the women were stylish, that jumpsuit, those spike heels, like literal spike heels, the music, all of it. Ugh. That was such a great way to start this season.
Yeah, and I don't mean of the episode. I mean of the entire run of Black Lightning. That's my favorite fight so far. Just all the tactical moves, and you could tell that they were evenly matched. And like the way the weapons just escalated. The only thing is when she gets the stiletto heel to the neck, you could tell that it's CG. But all of the lead up to that and everything else that came after it, I thought was awesome. And
were you surprised that Cyanide died?
Yes, I was.
Same.
Damn. I guess when you can't have too many series regulars, this show they get rid of you fast.
And you got to back Tobias into a corner. I guess he's even more nothing to lose now.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, and is Fowdy gone after getting thrown out a window? Because
BT Dubs, I didn't think that was an arrow. I thought that was an actual harpoon.
It might have been
Tobias Whale. If my last name was Whale and I was a supervillain, I'd harpoon everybody. Actually,
you're right. That makes sense. And because we've seen him shoot people in the neck with harpoons, and they're alive the next episode.
Well,
I think he killed Lala at least 3 or 4 times.
That's my memory. Yes.
But and everything going on in Freeland. Reverend Holt is very busy. And trying to calm his congregants, and get everyone together. I think the fact that these families can't see these kids who are in these pods and everything else that's going on. I feel like this should be like a national disaster. Like we should be seeing much more press on this. And
I would counter with the Flint water crisis and say that bad things happen and get some press, but no action, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But no, I see what you're saying. I mean, you would like to think that, I don't know, in any news cycle in America in 2018, I feel like we're just like, damn, no, not now. We have other stuff going on. Like, wasn't last year they had a story about NASA having evidence of some sort of artificial life or like intelligent life out there in the universe, and the whole world was like, calm down. We have other things going on, NASA. Not now. Sit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think so. And I like that Anissa then has taken it on herself. I thought her like drug den raid was also incredible.
Yeah, the fight scenes that happen in this episode are great, and none of them involve Jefferson. Which I thought was an interesting take. It does feel like this show is pivoting more. I mean, they talked about how the show was going to be about a family of superheroes, and that eventually it was going to pivot to be more about Anissa and Jennifer. And I feel like they're already starting that with this episode. Although his arc is much more personal, and everything that he's going through, where he ends up having to resign at the end of the episode.
He just kind of fought with everybody. Poor Jefferson.
Yeah. And what does he do now? Because because if you get fired as principal of a school, you're not, usually you're not teaching at that same school the next year. They don't buck you down. You find a job somewhere else. So I don't know what they're going to do with him.
It depends on how good your union is, I guess.
That's true. But is principal's administration, are they part of the union?
Oh, that's true. I don't know. This is a good question, and if anybody is a contract, like an employment contract person who listens, knows school law, I am curious about that.
Well, I have so many friends who are teachers, so I should know this. But yeah.
Well, and all I can think is a state university around here where the provost was let go, and he went back to a teaching gig that makes just so many hundreds of thousands a year. It's ridiculous. So that my only reference was at the university level, and that has to do with contracts and tenure and things like that. So anyway, that's
yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the amazing scene of Jefferson hugging the electricity out of Jennifer, and what an amazing dad he is, and how beautiful that visual was?
Yeah.
That whole scene was amazing.
Everything going on with Jennifer in this episode, I feel like she doesn't speak a lot of dialogue, but all the nonverbal stuff and everything that they're doing with the effects really shows like how tortured she is right now, how stressed out and really like difficult the situation that she's going through, and to get any kind of relief. And of course, really, Lynn doesn't know what to do, but she feels like she has to do something, so she's just trying to talk, and eventually it's just yelling. And when all of a sudden your daughter's glowing in the bathtub floating, and you don't know what to do, and his Jefferson's first reaction is to just go up and hug her. I thought that was really impactful. I thought that was a really beautiful scene, and really enigmatic of his whole relationship with his kids through the course of the show.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. That just, for me, as fun as the fight scenes were, that imagery was the most powerful to me. Also, that poor resurrected Greenlight teenager. That was really heartbreaking when his mom was like, nope, my kid's back. Nope. Sad.
Well, I think that's something to do with his powers, where like whoever he focuses on becomes completely honest, because I doubt she would have ever said that to him. Unless she was compelled to do so. So I think you're going to find that he's got some kind of thing where people have to tell the truth around him, and she was just saying whatever was on her mind.
Well, that's interesting. I just chalked that up to really bad grief.
Because I was just saying that because the way she was saying it was just flowing out of her, and then you could tell like she was kind of like ashamed and upset with herself right afterwards. So I don't know, plus that's for that kid, that's really awkward.
I know, not awkward, that's like crushing.
Yeah.
Let's see really quickly. Lynn saying it's Doctor. Yeah, yes, Queen. Yes, it is. And then if we want to talk about Jefferson's secret getting out a little bit with the person who should have figured it out a long time ago.
Bill Henderson. I pointed out on Twitter that he's got to be kicking himself for taking 15 years to figure that out. However, our at Becca Jacket tweeted at us, to be fair, it only took him 2 weeks or so after Black Lightning's reemergence and the addition of Thunder. So, I don't know.
Context clues are important.
Yeah, kinda, but that mask doesn't hide him really well. I feel like Inspector Henderson's better than that. He could have figured that out if he really wanted to.
I'm just interested in the ruffled feathers now that he has. I am always interested in that. I thought the best episode of Daredevil season 1 on Netflix was the Boggy episode when he's just like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah. That relationship shift is so fascinating to me. So I hope they don't gloss over it. And I trust the show not to. I really trust this show to be true to what that experience would be like. So.
All right. Was there anything else about Black Lightning you wanted to get to?
No, just that I'm delighted it's back. It's really good.
Yay. All right. Sorry if this seems short, but we do have to we do want to get this done in a timely fashion, and there is some news to get to.
We're just trying to remember our past lack of discipline and be more disciplined.
Yes. All right, and on to our newest show over at DC Universe, Titans series premiere. Titans. Dick Grayson worked as a Detroit police officer and moonlighted as Robin. Rachel Roth watched her mom get shot in the head and fled to Detroit, hoping to find Dick and ask for help understanding the monster inside her. Corey Anders woke up in a car with a dead guy in Vienna and spent the day trying to piece together who she was and why people were trying to kill her. Last minute reveal, a green tiger stole a video game from a big box retail store, ran into the woods, and transformed into a naked teenage boy.
I really want to congratulate Titans on not having to adhere to any network standards and practices. Congratulations, Titan. That was some violence. Oh my God.
Oh man. And and it was the one time he suited up.
I'm an American, so I'm pretty jaded about violence, But when Dick Grayson dragged that guy's face along the broken car window, oh my God! The sound effects in that whole fight scene were dialed up to 11. It was a lot. Holy cow!
And Dick's supposed to be the nice one. He's supposed to be like, the cheerful, optimistic member of the Batman family. And wow. Oh man. If he's like that, I don't want to see how grim and brutal Batman can be.
Zack Snyder, I blame you. I put this directly at your feet. Mm-hmm. This is our cheerful DC person.
I mean, at this point, Damian Wayne is going to be a psychotic monster, if he ever shows up in this universe. But yeah, we got Dick Grayson. How old is he to, one, be a detective in Detroit, but also for people to assume that he's transferring from GCPD?
I feel like if Batman was your mentor, you know how to fake documents and credentials. So it could accelerate you. Does that make sense, or is that not the Batman code? Do you not rely on paperwork?
No, that makes sense. That's totally, how to do a cover. I'm just saying, like, if I'm in the Detroit Police Department's, personnel department, when they get his application and they see him, how old are you? Could you get through the academy? Like, it's, I mean, is he like early 20s? I mean, I know this is Titans. This isn't Teen Titans. So it looks
this is definitely not Teen Titans. This is not Teen Titans Co. This is not. No. I think he could be maybe late 20s. And he wears a mask a lot, and so it's kept sun damage from his eyes. Like, I could see that he's maybe a mid-late 20s. But I agree, that seems really young for detective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he felt young. I was impressed with the time to shirtless. I always am like in a pilot when you have your shirtless main character within the first 10 minutes. That's effective, efficient storytelling. Well done. Also, is it a Batman project if you don't have dead parents in the first 60 seconds?
Ooh, yeah. And they
did not waste any time. We had so many dead parents.
Yeah, and we get like 3 dead parents in the first 10 minutes. Like it's
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
it's the extra Batman.
Did you like how we never got Rachel's mom's first name? Like we don't know.
No, there was no need for that. She's just mom.
Yeah, she's just mom.
Well, that was Sherilyn Fenn, wasn't it? I was surprised to see her in that.
I didn't recognize the actress, to be honest. What?
And I recognized her enough that I didn't actually look it up because I'm pretty sure that's Sherilyn Fenn, who's a big enough name that we would have heard if that had been a major character. So I figured that wasn't good for her.
Yeah, and you're the coffee drinker. I'm not the coffee drinker. Does coffee go well with a bowl of Trix?
Everything goes well with coffee.
Okay.
That maybe would not be my first thought for a pairing, but when you need the coffee, you need the coffee, and whatever you're eating at the time, you know,
yeah,
you do what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, real quick to go back to Dick Grayson for a second. I love that the Robin attack it's not to bust up these 2 gangs. It's not to stop this drug buy off that's going on. It's to get this one guy from beating up his kid.
Yes. Drugs, fine. Child abuse, nope.
I thought that was fun. When Rachel is in Detroit and she goes to that soup kitchen and she meets the woman who's taking her to her car, and like she, and then like the demon inside of her like freaks out. Do you think that woman was going to take her to a shelter, or do you think there was something skeevy going on there?
Jason and I talked about that. I felt like the woman seemed straightforward and above board. Like when Raven was taken away by the police, the woman didn't, speak into an earpiece like call it off or look upset or anything. I don't know. She seemed to me to be straightforward. And yet I felt like the demon voice steered her in the right direction otherwise. Kill him while you can. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're like, oh, don't kill the cop. And then the cop stabs her in the neck with a trank. Okay, she should have listened to the demon voice. So if the demon voice is that accurate, should we assume it was accurate there too? But yes, I liked the ambiguity of that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Like I wasn't wondering if like that was like the acolyte sent her first is to, let's get this done quick and easy. But yeah. And
I like the demon reflection. That's creepy. That's unsettling.
Yeah, you know what? I am really upset at that actress who was on Cosby as a kid and then got her own Disney Channel show, because I really wanted to use the phrase "that is so Raven," and it doesn't make sense anymore when I use it here because like that is Raven.
We're taking it back. We're taking it back.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, we should do that. We should take it back. Because I thought when she freaks out, when she takes out the acolyte, that whole thing, where like she kind of like goes into him and then he vomits her out full of blood, and then all of a sudden she's back in the chair tied up. I thought that was
so Raven.
That was so Raven. That was I think Raven is going to be the Shway of Titans now.
Now here's where I disagree, because my favorite part of this episode was Starfire.
Ooh.
I was surprised to find that to be the case because she had gotten such bad pre-publicity with the outfit and the hair and all of it. But I gotta say, Ed, once they indicated that her location was Europe and she was headed to a club, you know what? It all makes sense. The hair, the outfit, the boots, all of it, the coat. Yup. She's in Europe. That's cool. This all fits. Yep. I apologize on behalf of every jerk on the internet. Anna Diop, you were fantastic. I thought she was charismatic. I thought her fights were good. I enjoyed this very much.
Yeah, it really felt like a different story for a while. And, it just felt like, it's this amnesiac, it's kind of like a bad Liam Neeson movie where she's trying to figure out who she is and everything else that's going on. but I thought
Or
done really well.
A good Gina Davis movie.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, keep going.
But yeah, I thought her fight with the guy in the hotel suite, I thought that was cool. And Konstantin Kovar, who is a character from the comics.
I was so charmed by that, and I was like, "Oh, could we get Dolph Lundgren again?" But nah,
no,
different
and
Kovar.
like they took him out quick.
They really did.
It's like, oh, she's gonna have this big bad who's gonna be like following her across the world the whole show. And
Nope.
Like, nope.
Never mind.
Nope. She got so Raven. That she's like, I'm not having it.
That dude was Cajun by the end. That was blackened bad guy. There.
Yeah.
Seared.
Yeah.
Pan seared.
And So and Beast Boy.
Okay.
We got a quick glimpse of him.
Really quickly. That security guard in the Beast Boy scene was playing an old video game called Crystal Castles. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, which is adorable, and it's about a little bear picking up these like pellets and advancing. If you have an adorable bear video game, why don't you have Beast Boy turn into a bear, right? Like, you've got a bear video game. That's the thing. It's a bear. Have it. I thought they were priming us because my husband and I just played Crystal Castles a couple weeks ago at an arcade in the area. So we were just like, oh, Crystal Castles, that's so cool. And then he was a tiger, which is fine, very cool. But you give us a bear video game.
Yeah, I mean the tiger's like Beast Boy's thing. That's one of his like go-tos.
Is that his? Okay.
Yeah.
It's his Patronus. Got it.
Yeah. In the comics, a lot he's also a bird. But like the tiger. That's like his go-to. And you got to see a green tiger. I thought the CGI on that was pretty good. I
was just going to say, are we only ever going to see the CGI forms in the dark? Will it always be nighttime when he's transforming?
Probably.
Which is fine. Like, no shade there. It's CGI is hard and expensive. It's fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. He's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and also kind of like, did he have to be naked at the end? Like, was that like a, I was kind of like, that's a thing. Like, is this gonna be like, whenever someone goes to the time machine in the Terminator movies?
Is that in the comics? Is he able to transform with his clothes?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, it might be that he has like a special costume that can like hold shape when he transforms, but
because I was gonna say that wasn't super weird to me because I feel like I read a lot of werewolf fiction, and so those people are always naked after they transform, so that didn't faze me at all. Of course, he was naked. He just transformed.
All right.
That's a weird way to end that conversation.
Yeah, but that was Titans. I'm really looking forward to this. I was really happy. I thought that this was going to be doom and gloom, but there was a lot of humor mixed in here, and this was a really exciting show. I'm very impressed with DC Universe right now.
I'm excited to see where it goes in episode 2. I feel like pilots are not always representative of the rest of the episodes because pilots have such a big job to do. Introduce everybody, build the world, set up all the places we're going to go. So episode 2, I think, is where you really start to get a sense of what is this show going to be. So I liked this a lot. I am even more excited in some ways to see what's next.
All right. Now, because we have 2 shows that are going to be premiering again this week, we're going to do some refreshers. So, real quick refresher in news. Let's start with Supergirl, which is coming back on Sunday. Sarah, you remember what happened in Supergirl season 3?
Yes, I do. We defeated the bad guys. Everybody gets a happy ending except for the terrible adoptive mother of Samantha Ray. Sam.
Sam. Because she.
I don't know why I called her Samantha. Why did I formal that?
Because she was a horrible person, and that's what she deserved.
This is true. Not Sam, but her adoptive mother.
Yes, but
so Sam is cured of rain and skips away happily to live with Ruby. John steps down as head of the DEO and leaves it to my queen Alex. And we have a doppelkara.
Yeah, who shows up in Russia somewhere. Also don't forget Wynn decided to go to the future to help save all the artificial intelligence being attacked by Brainiac. He went with Mon-El, who also went back with Imra, and Brainy is staying behind to help to take Wynn's place at the DEO.
Supergirl had an interesting season last season. I thought it started off really strong and it sort of faltered at the midpoint, and things got the pacing was a little rushed and choppy, and in the end I thought it pulled it out pretty well, but it was a little bit more of a rocky journey, I thought, that season than some of the previous ones had been. I am excited it's coming back. It looks good. I think it's a little bit of a reset because now you've got Alex in charge of the DEO. You've got Brainy, who's stayed behind. You've got Mon-El, who I think is gone. Wynn is not going to be a regular thing. Lena looked like she was maybe flirting with the dark side, and she hired Miss Tessmacher. So I think they've set up some interesting things to be going down.
Yeah. Also, James, I feel
yes.
yeah, I feel like revealing himself to be Guardian, that's gonna have some consequences. I
believe legal ones. I believe that is one thing that we have talked about. So it's gonna be some things to look forward to, and and was there any news or anything specific you want to talk about Supergirl? Well, not specific necessarily. There is a final new trailer for the season that dropped in advance of its Sunday premiere, which a lot of you are probably listening to this podcast on Sunday or even afterward, depending on your listening practices. That shows a lot of the new characters in action, including the new big bad Agent Liberty in his mask, which is both creepy and slightly reminiscent of a Krypton on Sci-Fi bad guy, the voice of Rao.
Ooh, okay.
For what it's worth. If anybody is watching all of the shows that Ed and I are watching,
yeah. I did see it was a gold mask with kind of a blank face. That same kind of look to it. And it seems like they're putting the Red Daughter storyline to the side for now. They're going to get to that later in the season.
I think this season is promising more topical relevance, more discussion of aliens as immigrants, and more rising anti-alien / immigrant sentiment. Agent Liberty is going to be whipping that up, and the Red Daughter will be a back half of the season kind of thing. So hopefully we'll get to check in with her. Maybe we'll get those 2 minutes before the credits check in, hopefully ever so often, so we don't forget about her. But I think we're going to have a lot of chaos and upheaval in National City in the first part of the season.
All right.
I'm all about it.
All right. So for our second refresher, going back to Arrow, which is what we're airing next week, Monday. So they were able to defeat Diaz and get him out of Star City, but he's still out there working with the longbow hunters. And Oliver turned himself in and is put in Supermax prison. Quentin Lance died, and Black Siren and Sara came back, and so they were mourning him, and everything's
even though
she is not his daughter. Hopefully I'm not.
That was for Brian Hour.
Yes. And I try to say it as quietly as possible, which was pretty loud.
Do you have people around you who would be startled by that?
Not really. I purposely face away from the microphone and scream it to the other end of the room. But it is a pretty small room. So Felicity is in witness protection with William. That's the deal?
Yeah, the understanding of the setup here is that Oliver is in prison and he is trying to be a model inmate, but the other inmates are making it real hard for him. And there's a new trailer that came out in advance of the Monday premiere that shows just poor Oliver's beautiful face getting more and more torn up because he's just facing down more and more dudes in the prison, a lot of whom he put there. While on the outside, and I guess we can kind of transition into some of the news. The kind of feel of this season is going to be adjusting to new identities. So Oliver's not a superhero anymore. He's not a vigilante. He's just a prisoner. His vigilante crew are trying to either go straight. It looks like Curtis is done in the field. But Renee feels like Oliver left them with a charge to protect the city. So everybody's kind of grappling with new situations. Felicity's husband's in prison. She's a mother, or she's a single mother now. There's a lot of angst and adjustment and things like that. Even though Felicity and Oliver are going to be separated, there's still going to be a lot of those relationship feels that the storylines they're going to be working on, even though they're in separated locations, are sort of going to be working in parallel to one another. They both have the same goals a lot of times. So I thought the last trailer looked fantastic. The Oliver prison fights look brutal, and I'm curious what's happening with the people on the outside. The bad news for me personally is that Kirk Acevedo has been promoted to season regular this season, so I guess we're going to have a full season of Dragon.
Aw, sorry.
And he was kind of a jerk about it on Twitter to a certain segment of the fandom. He tweeted kind of snide things. So I don't know. I'm not super impressed with the character still. I'm not thrilled that he's the big bad who lingers for a second season. Maybe they can turn that character around and make him interesting, and I don't know. We'll see. But the whole thing is just, ugh. I don't know. I'd say something positive, Ed. I don't want to be down about it like that.
I thought some of the stuff they were doing with him in like the last 2 or 3 episodes of the season, like that whole solo episode he had with Black Siren, where he, kind of meets up with the Quadrant. I thought that was interesting. You got a little bit more backstory. Maybe they'll dig into him deeper. I think especially because they were building up Caden James and then had that giant bait and switch that, maybe he didn't get enough time to develop. So he's going to be away, so I don't know. I'm a little bit more optimistic about this. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, now I'm reminded that there's an alternate universe where we could have announced Michael Emerson as a season regular for this season. And I would have been like, yeah, Caden James for another year. Oh yeah. So anyway.
All right. So I think that's good for the refreshers. Ready to get into hard news?
Yeah, let's zip through this. Okay. News on the crossover. Stephen Amell was shooting, the CW superhero, when I say the crossover, everybody knows what that means. Stephen Amell was shooting behind the scene footage, just kind of to show off on social media, and he was showing all the different chairs for the actors. So here's his chair, here's this actor's chair, here's this actress's chair, and then he dipped his camera down so we couldn't see the name on one of the chairs, and then resumed showing all the expected players in the crossover. So to me, that says there is somebody who hasn't been announced yet who we would recognize or who would be relevant in some way that he wanted to keep as a surprise. So I don't know if that means, do you have theories?
Well, I don't know if you've been watching DC Daily lately, but when that show started, John Barrowman had silver hair. And this week, he dyed it brown again.
Oh, I like this conspiracy theory. And they're actively shooting the crossover right now. So, Malcolm Merlyn.
Maybe. And especially on Friday's episode, when they were talking about the crossover and what's coming up, he had to be really careful not to spoil anything. And I don't know how he would know what's going on those shows unless he was slated to appear on at least one or two of them. So
I would welcome a Malcolm Merlyn drop in. How about you?
I would welcome that too. Plus that whole thing of, an explosion happening off screen, trying to pass that off that he's dead now. I mean, come on, really? You think I haven't watched this show for 6 years?
It takes more than that to take down both Malcolm Merlyn and John Barrowman, honestly.
Yes.
My only sadness would be that Thea's not there because I like the two of them together.
Yeah.
And that would be another name that we would recognize that would be a surprise. I doubt that would be the situation, but yeah.
It could be. It could be. Unless they recast Thea. Maybe that's what they do.
Take that idea out of your head. That's terrible. Oh.
Well, she doesn't want to be around.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I really like that actress. The other tiny bit of crossover news is Stephen Amell tweeted that the crossover opens with Oliver eating pancakes.
All right, I got some questions.
Start your speculations.
So is he an old-fashioned, straightforward butter and syrup guy? Or is he throwing some chocolate chips into the mix? Are they banana pancakes maybe? We getting some fruit on top, some like strawberries or blueberries.
And whipped cream? Because if you have strawberries or blueberries, you have to have whipped cream.
Well, I mean, then we're in like Belgian waffle territory. But they said pancakes.
I don't see how that's an either-or thing. My take on this is that Oliver is aware of health and fitness, and so he would do the thing that my husband once did when he made pancakes one morning. He used protein powder mix instead of like Bisquick, and made pancakes that were at least 10 pounds each. And you ate like a fifth of that pancake and then just moaned at how full you were for the rest of the day. I feel like Oliver's pancakes would be very dense with protein because he's got to do that salmon ladder.
It was you said this to me and I didn't. It was just protein powder. Like,
well, he had protein powder and a little bit. I forget if he milk, egg, whatever. He had to have some liquid to bind it, but mostly yeah.
But like there was no flour in that.
No.
Oh, wow.
It was solid. It was Easter morning. My sister and brother-in-law were staying with us. Jason made us pancakes, and it kind of. I'm not saying it ruined Easter. I'm not saying it. And if I could call my sister, put her on speaker right now, and I'd say, "Hey, remember Jason's pancakes?" She'd just be like, "Ugh!" So Oliver would have a better recipe, but his pancakes would be high in protein.
Okay,
I promise you.
Okay, moving on.
Also, now I kind of want pancakes.
Yeah. I feel like going to the diner after this.
You know who has pancakes? Steak and Shake. All right, moving on.
Oh, of course.
Legends of Tomorrow. We don't have a ton of news, but we do have an episode title, and that is that episode 4 is going to be Lucha de Apuestas. Apuestas means wagers or bets, and so it's going to be a Mexican wrestling lucha libre kind of thing, which sounds on brand for the Legends, honestly.
Who wears the mask? My money's on Nate.
Oh God, Nate! Obviously, it's going to be Nate. God, that guy. Actually, Nate's spending apparently more time on Earth in 2018, from what we've read. So if Nate is not there, Mick?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Mick, definitely. In fact, he's the kind of guy you would think wouldn't wear a mask, but if it was for luchador wrestling, he would run to it. I bet you he's that kind of guy.
So place your bets now.
All right, cool.
Let's see. Next, a final CW show, Batwoman music. We've seen the costume.
And it's beautiful. It's streamlined. It's simple black with the red bat and some red motif running through. You got the black cape and that mask and that flowing red hair. It's very, very close to the costume. I was very happy with this look.
I wondered if you would be, because that looked, the first thing you said to me about Batwoman when this was announced was that iconic white skin, red hair, that look is so important. And it looked like they captured that. Yes,
definitely the milky white skin. Yeah. If you were to hand that to a Hollywood costume designer and say, make me this, I don't think they could have done better.
And I will, as always, say no woman would go into the field to fight with her hair loose like that. That's a tight bun situation, but that's okay. I get that we're going for aesthetics, and that's fine. I'm not going to throw any shade to Batwoman because she probably stomp me. She looks tough. And she looks like she can
also just kind of a thing that is fake hair, because outside of the costume, she always has it in kind of like a short, like neck length, straight kind of, she always has short straight hair, not the red curls kind of thing that she has in the Batwoman costume. And that's, kind of intense, sort of like what Yvonne Craig did in the Batgirl costume in the 60s.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is heartening. But right. I'm interested that we haven't had any news about the show becoming a show. I mean, it says it's in development. So far, it's been mostly crossover news, I think. I'm curious if we're going to hear about a show for next season anytime soon, or maybe they'll see how it goes in the crossover first. I don't know, but
yeah. My guess is they probably won't even film, because pilots aren't usually shot until like January, February. So my guess is they'll wait till after the crossover, then shoot the pilot, and then that's when we'll start hearing more stuff about the show proper.
Well, I am looking forward to that. All right, moving on to Gotham. We have a ton of Gotham news that seemed to have been a big component of the New York Comic Con. Just a lot of Gotham stuff. So we have a trailer for the upcoming season that looks just goth and scary. A lot of it recaps past seasons, but the fresh content for this upcoming season just looked like a lot of jump scares and people in horrifying masks coming out of the shadows behind people, and all of my nightmares personally. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I thought it was spooky too. Like the first 2/3 of it is all recap, but then when they finally get into the sizzle reel for the next season, you're right. It is a lot of spooky stuff.
And a couple of other tidbits that came out from Comic-Con. Let's see, Fat Penguin is coming. Robin Taylor Lord said that indeed he is going to have some sort of fat suit action, a little bit more of that iconic comic book costume, so he's going to look a little more like the Penguin we know and love. I think they should just trot out Danny DeVito at the end. Hey, time has passed.
Yeah. But I am also interested to see how he looks in that getup. And the fact that he's doing a fat suit and not gaining weight, although you probably would need more time.
And I will say, he didn't actually, I mean, he said, oh yeah, Fat Penguin's coming, and then the interviewer said, oh, like a fat suit, and Robin Taylor Lord kind of said, yeah, he was not the one saying, yeah, I have to wear a fat suit, or I've been eating, I've been drinking nothing but milkshakes, and so he didn't explicitly say it himself, but it seemed like he agreed with that. So, but no, I'm with you. I wondered about the time frame, if you're starting with the disaster that isolates them, how much time has passed, and how much can a poor actor do to bulk up for the winter like that. So anyway, these are all kind of random tidbits. The villain that they did not get to in this final season, according to the showrunners, was the ventriloquist. It sounded like that was one that they kind of had wanted to do and were not able to come across. Ed, do you feel gypped because you have not gotten to see the ventriloquist?
I can live with that.
Okay.
I can live with that.
Does it help if I tell you that they have confirmed that Bruce will encounter his first bat sometime this season?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's a moment that has been redone over and over and over in the comics, and not enough in other media, I think. But yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting to see how they're going to pull that off.
And let's see what else. Apparently the Netflix season 4 subtitles, if you turn them on, just straight up refers to Jerome as Joker. So I love it when subtitles, the show is trying to be cagey and the dialogue and who is this really? Mm-hmm. And then the subtitles are just like, nah, it's this. It's right here. It's this. It was in the script. It's this. This happened, I mentioned this to Ed off air, this happened in Game of Thrones a couple of seasons ago, when you saw one of the big bad whites one of the leader whites of the Army of the Dead, was referred to in subtitles as the Night King. And the Night King was kind of a throwaway reference in a much earlier book of the Song of Ice and Fire series. And people who had read the books were like, oh, who's the Night King? What's that going to be? That's interesting. Tell us more, George R. R. Martin. And then the show subtitles were just like, yeah, this guy's the Night King. Oh, all right. He's right there. Cool. So anyway, Netflix helped us all out and confirmed, I guess, Jerome is Joker.
All right.
Last thing, so we left Selena in a bad way. And when this season opens, this new season, Bruce is going to be looking for ways to heal her, to fix her. And what he ends up doing to get her better is apparently going to cause some friction between the two of them. So, deal with the underworld, selling his soul,
cocaine,
baboon heart, cocaine, whatever. I don't know. We'll find out. She's not going to be happy.
You know, all the stuff rich kids are into.
Baboon hearts and cocaine.
I think you just got the title for our episode.
As I said it, I knew it.
All right.
I mean, is it a party if you don't have baboon hearts and cocaine, though? Like, you just have, that's the first thing you order when you plan your party. You got to make sure you have enough for everybody. You don't want to run out.
Well, maybe that
that's
was
it for Gotham.
That's it for Gotham. Maybe in Titans, that was the bad guy's mistake. He was using baboon hearts instead of human hearts.
Learn from these mistakes, people. Don't make the same mistakes.
All right, what's next up?
Last on our news roster is something new. Are you ready?
Okay.
Secret 6 is in development at CBS.
The Secret Six?
Explain.
Okay. So the Secret Six is a team up of supervillains. It's not the Suicide Squad, who are sent on covert ops missions. It's not the Suicide Squad, I swear. Deadshot has been a part of them at times, even though he's also part of the Suicide Squad. This is not the Suicide Squad.
Is it the A-Team?
It's not Task Force X. It is there's this mysterious person named Mockingbird who you never see, who puts together these 6 random supervillains and sends them out to do stuff, to get into trouble and go into missions.
It's Charlie's Angels. Got it.
Yeah, it's like Charlie's Angels meets the Suicide Squad. Let's Originally, it was kind of like a version of the Dirty Dozen, where they weren't necessarily. And then when they redid it with Gail Simone during the lead up to Infinite Crisis in a miniseries called Villains United, they added in C-level supervillains who had faced off against superheroes you knew. The main character I remember was Catman.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say Catman?
Yes, Catman. He
I'm
dresses
in.
Yeah, it's a brown and yellow Batman-like costume.
Oh, and by the way, when you say C level, you mean like letter C and not SEA level. Aquaman is at sea level. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. They're like D-list supervillains. Ragdoll was on there at one point. Yeah, I think they hooked up with Bane. I did not read. I read Villains United. I did not read their series proper, but a lot of people were really excited about that. None of this to me says CBS. So the fact that they're the ones who are bringing this, my bet is that they're going to take the concept of someone trapping a bunch of bad guys and forcing them to do good things. That they're kind of going to weed out the supervillain elements, although none of the stories have said that specifically. But yeah, if they turn it into that kind of a procedural, I mean, if you're gonna say that this show is gonna end up on CBS, that's my guess as to what's gonna happen. Because I can't really see them getting because they tried doing that, doing like a straight up superhero show and integrating all of the DC universe, and Supergirl ended up on CW in season 2. So I don't know if they're taking another crack at it. I don't know. You're the one who covers a show on CBS for EW.com, so you probably have a little better insight in it than me. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, yeah. Either a laugh track or a case of the week that we solve with light banter. I mean, it's slightly out of date technological references, you know, things that you're the older generation in your family is going to really dig. Or CBS is going to try to rebrand and try and experiment, and there's going to be news articles about it. And CBS moving in a superhero direction, and then it'll be canceled in 6 episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say they try that. They try this about every 3 or 4 years, and usually those shows end up getting canceled.
And then they realize, no, our wheelhouse is procedurals. Honestly, it would not surprise me if in the end this becomes like NCIS Secret 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Navy SEALs, like something like that. Yeah. But yeah. Either way, whatever happens with it, we will be covering, give you more info about it on the DC TV report.
We shall.
And yeah, and you said that was the last bit of news for the week, right?
Yeah, and we don't have the retro pick, so I think we're done here.
Well, we still got to pick our winners for the week.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
I have my winner.
All right, go ahead.
My winner of the week is Ralph Dibny.
Ralph Dibny, okay.
For asking the important questions. Why didn't Eddie get a vasectomy? What do you mean it's not Earth also? Ralph was the audience surrogate. Ralph asked the thing we've been saying for literally years. Ralph wins my week. You go.
So I went with a theme that ran through the 3 new episodes, which was parent troubles. Kids not knowing how to talk to their parents, and vice versa. Nora had kind of a weird time with Iris, and even though she had a fun time with Barry, had trouble trying to be honest with him, and wasn't quite sure how to let him know, like, I don't really know you in the future. In Black Lightning, Jennifer was really didn't know what to do with her powers and did not want to talk to her parents about it, even though and in Titans, Rachel, her mom just wanted her to pray and figure stuff out, and her mom ended up dead. So that was kind of the theme that I saw running through.
With a vengeance.
Yes. Yes, by a character named the Acolyte, who got his just desserts in the end.
True.
Yes. So yeah, that's our winners for the week. This was fun. First week back. Got a light with 3 episodes. We got 2 more coming up next week with Supergirl and Arrow. Yeah, are you excited, Sarah? You nervous?
I really am. I am a little nervous about the return of the hour and 45-minute podcast, but it's only going to be 5 new episodes for the time being, so we can do that. That's great.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, everybody. That's the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
And I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show in your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam.